So what we need to do, we're gonna go ahead and put the crank bolt back in, and we're gonna turn that clockwise till when this key is about at 12 o'clock. It gotta be exactly at 12 o'clock. What's gonna happen on top, the camshaft sprocket, number 1 will match up with that line. That means you're right on top, dead center, and it's going to be in intake mode because you do not want to be in exhaust mode. That'll cause damage if you do it wrong and you go ahead and do the whole job, and once you try to start the engine, you're going to go ahead and bend some valves, so you don't want to do that. So I'm going to remove the crankshaft sensor, which is held by that little bracket there. There's 3 bolts. Actually, there's 2 nuts in the bolt. Once I get that off, and we'll be able to see a point there. So that's going to be dead on. It's always a good idea to take like a paint marker and also mark your points. So when you go ahead and reinstall everything, everything goes back where it was. So that's what's going on. Okay, so you actually could see what I did. That's the key I was talking about, and right above it, I'm going to see if I could get over it. It's rust, but there's a little point right above that key. The sprocket has a little bit of rust on it, but there is a point, and I'm gonna try to point it out. It's right there. You can actually see a little triangle, very tiny triangle. So that means we are at top dead center, and I'm gonna show you right on top. We have number 1, and I'm also going to see if I could zoom in. Number 1, there's also a little line on that sprocket right there. You could see that little line, and matches up perfectly fine with that little line that's on the back, that's cut into the cover. Both sides. So this side matches, and also, let me see if I can get my phone over there, and so I could actually see if I could show you. I won't be able to get in there. I apologize, but that side also matches fine. So what I'm actually going to do right now, I will go ahead and take a marker, and I'm going to mark this point, obviously on the belt, and here. I'm going to mark it on the bottom. Next, I'll go ahead and remove the hydraulic tensioner, and I'll pull the belt off. I'll yank the seal out, and I'll show you how I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm not going to replace any components, obviously, because I'm already replacing the belt out of my pocket. I just feel bad, you know, doing the whole job for a seal that's only $13. It's this job at Acura dealership worth about $1,200 That's including parts. But yeah, I mean, the belt's not expensive, and I really don't want to go ahead and do all this work for one seal and then, you know, a couple thousand miles later do everything over again for this little seal, which I'll show you right here. He has a seal that's been leaking. So like I said, this is my belt, and it's a Dayco belt. It's a pretty good quality belt. It's not OEM, but this is definitely gonna go ahead and do the job. But that's what's going on. This cover will be replaced as it got some damage there, but I had no other choice but using my torch to go ahead and warm it up. And I did inform the customer, you know, there's a good chance that bolt is not going to come out without, you know, heating it up. So how I went and I turned it, I put the bolt back in, I used my driver, and I just turned it clockwise, you know, just go, you know, a couple turns, and I got that to line up. So what we're going to do now is just make our marks, and we'll remove the hydraulic tensioner. We'll start pulling the belt off. Okay, we were able to go ahead and remove the hydraulic tensioner. We already took off the timing belt, and I'll show you what the hydraulic tensioner looks like. we're gonna go ahead and reuse it. And this is the problem that we had the whole time, is that leak right there. That's the leaky seal. So everything had to be done just for the one seal. I couldn't believe Honda couldn't design anything better, but I guess you have to go through all the steps just to go get to that seal right there. And we're gonna yank it out with the seal remove tool. Looks like this. There's different designs, and we're gonna go ahead and replace it with a new one. You always want to check, make sure it's a correct seal that you got, and we'll go from there. Alright, we were able to go ahead and pull out the old seal. I have it sitting right over here, and now we cleaned everything there, degreased it. We're gonna go ahead and very gently put this new seal in there. I'm gonna use a large socket. They actually make different kits to install seals, but I happen to have all kinds of different sizes socket, and I have one that works perfectly fine. You want to gently put the socket over the seal and very gently tap it in there. I usually like to use my rubber hammer, and it works perfectly fine. So we're going to put that in there, and we're going to go ahead and put a new timing belt. So that's, you could see it took good 7-8 hours just to get to the seal. Never go ahead and check all data for time, because on an older car you could always run into a snag like I did with that bolt over there. I mean, it was a good 4-hour job just to get that bolt off.